Hey guys, how's it going? So today's video, it's all about GPUs that you can buy for under $300. In 2020, you don't need to blow a grand on a high-end GPU just to get good gaming performance and good graphics performance. In fact, now is the best time to buy a budget GPU. This is because there are some excellent choices in the market right now. And why is that? It's largely because, if you remember the cryptocurrency mining craze, that craze is gone. And as a result, the GPU prices, they have largely come down. So in this video, I will share my pick of the best GPUs that you can buy regardless of your budget. All the GPUs that I am recommending in this video, I will link all those GPUs in the video description below. So if you guys are on a tight budget, then Radeon RX 570 delivers the best bang for bucks. You can get this GPU for under $130, which is a steal in my opinion. This is a great budget GPU for playing 1080p games in high detailed setting. It comes with 4GB of GDDR5 video RAM, which helps not only with gaming but also with video editing. So compared to Nvidia GTX 1060, which sells for about $170 and it only comes with 3GB of video RAM, RX 570 is a far better deal. So in the 3D Mark Firestrike graphics score, RX 570 outperformed GTX 1060 by almost 10%. It scored 13,354 points as opposed to 12,177 points scored by 1060. So Radeon RX 570, this is the GPU of choice for anyone on a tight budget. Now if you can spare extra $30, I would recommend going with RX 580. It comes with 8GB of GDDR5 RAM, which is more than enough not only for 1080p gaming at ultra setting, but also for 4K video editing using softwares like DaVinci Resolve or Adobe Premiere. In 3D Mark Firestrike graphics score, RX 580 scores 14,860 points, making it about 11.3% faster than RX 570 and 22% faster than GTX 1060. If you plan to buy either RX 570 or RX 580, make sure that your PSU can supply adequate power. So RX 570, it needs at least 450 watt power supply, while RX 580, it needs 500 watts of power supply. So I have put links to both these GPUs along with compatible PSUs in the video description below. Okay, now let's talk about sub $300 GPU category. So in this price range, the clear winner is Radeon RX 5600 XT. So AMD announced this card recently. It was CES 2020 and it is currently selling for about $280. This card is built on 7nm process technology and it uses AMD's Navi 10 architecture. It comes with 6GB of GDDR6 video RAM and it's on 192 memory bus. This means RX 5600 XT, it has about 30% more memory bandwidth than RX 5500 XT. AMD is targeting mainstream gamers by delivering best-in-class 1080p performance with this GPU. It clobbers both Nvidia GTX 1660 Ti and 1660 Super cards in all gaming benchmarks. So for example, here is the benchmark result from the Shadow of the Tomb Raider played at 1080p resolution with quality setting to the highest. And RX 5600 XT not only bests GTX 1660 series cards, it also performs neck to neck with RTX 2060, which is actually a $320 card. By using the Navi 10 architecture, AMD has ensured that this card will also be able to handle gaming at 1440p, which is basically 2K resolution. Now, Nvidia is obviously not sitting still, so they are responding by dropping the price of RTX 2060. But in my opinion, AMD is still the better deal. So I have put links to both RX 5600 XT and RTX 2060 in the video description below. You can check out the current prices because the prices are fluctuating. AMD and Nvidia both are now fighting to get, attention of the customer. But before making a GPU purchase, there are few important things that you should know. First and the most important thing is to identify a GPU that works best with the CPU that you have in your PC right now. So the CPU and the GPU, they need to work together in tandem. So you need to find the right balance. For example, there is no point in buying an ultra expensive, RTX 2080 Ti card if your desktop is running on an Intel Core i3 processor. And this is because, a slow processor will not be able to keep up with the ultra fast GPU. It will result in a mediocre overall performance and you will end up wasting your hard-earned dollars. Now, if you are building a brand new system, then, based on your budget, you should always pick a right combination of CPU and GPU. So don't go crazy picking an expensive GPU while skimping on the CPU. And also, don't go the other way around, which is like buy an expensive CPU and then pair it with a very bad GPU. Both those, cases are going to hurt you. Second thing to look for when buying a GPU is the video RAM, commonly known as VRAM. VRAM is different from system RAM because it is exclusively used by the GPU for accelerating graphics performance. To play a 1080p game on higher setting, you need at least 3 to 4 gig of VRAM. Anything lower than 3 gig, it's going to result in dropped frames and choppy performance. If you want to max out textures, anti-aliasing, foliage and shadows, then I recommend picking a GPU with at least 6 gig of video RAM. Now you don't need to go higher than 6 gig unless you plan to do, stuff like 4K video editing or advanced color grading. But if you are planning to run video editing softwares like DaVinci Resolve or Adobe Premiere, then, go with 8 gig of video RAM because that will future proof your purchase. Okay, so the third consideration when you are buying a GPU is the thermal profile. So you always have a choice of going with a low profile GPU or, get a larger GPU. The low profile GPUs, they usually come with a small heat sink, which are not very efficient. So as a result, you run the risk of overheating your gaming PC, during prolonged gaming sessions. And on the other hand, the GPUs, the ones which are bigger, they come with big aluminum heat sink, they have copper heat pipes, they have multiple fans, and they are very efficient in, keeping your card cool. They are able to maintain healthy temperatures even when overclocked, which results in top graphics performance. But they are also loud and may interfere with your gaming session. So before you buy a GPU, my recommendation is always open up your PC case and ensure that there is enough room for a bigger card. And if there is enough room for a bigger card, then go with the bigger card. And also make sure that there is enough airflow and proper heat dissipation in the case. Okay, now the fourth thing that you should consider when you are buying a GPU is the power supply. So remember, different graphics cards, they will have different TDP and their power consumption is going to vary a lot. So before you buy a GPU, make sure that the PSU in your desktop, it can deliver the required wattage. If you don't have enough juice in your power supply, either your system is not going to boot at all when you put a new GPU, or worse still, it will boot, but then you will start experiencing random crashes. So for example, take my desktop PC. It's a Dell XPS 8930 workstation and it comes with a power supply, the Dell power supply, it's 450 watts. So if I put a GTX 2080 Ti in this system, it's going to be an absolute disaster because this GPU, it expects 650 watt power supply. And if I put it in my desktop, I will either get random crashes or my system is not going to boot at all. So always check, before you buy a GPU, always check the TDP of all components in your PC, including the GPU, to make sure that the power supply can provide required wattage. Otherwise, probably you will have to go and upgrade the PSU as well. Okay, fifth and the final thing which you should consider before buying a GPU is the power pin connector compatibility. So always make sure that your power supply has the right power connector compatibility with the GPU. So for example, a GPU with 6-pin port will use a 6-pin power connector. These days, almost all budget power supplies, they come with the 6-pin power connector. So take the example of RX 5600 XT, the card which I just recommended, it's linked in the description below. That card needs one 6-pin and one 8-pin PCI Express connector to power it. So if you're planning to buy that card, you will have to make sure that your PSU has a 6-pin and a 8-pin power cable. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below and I will try to help you guys. Please like this video and subscribe to TechnoPanda for more videos like this. Also, check out technopandareviews.com for more reviews focusing on laptops, gaming PCs, TVs, monitors, gaming laptops, and other gadgets which I review here on this channel. Again, guys, thanks for watching my video and I will see you guys in my next one.